Welcome back to my channel. Today we are exploring two classic and highly interesting Lincoln wheat cents that every coin lover should know about. These coins carry history, design beauty, and collector value that still attract attention today. Let's start with the 1 cent 1946 coin. The 1946 1-cent coin holds a very special place in United States numismatic history because it represents a clear turning point after one of the most important global events of the 20th century. This coin was struck just 1 year after the end of World War II, at a time when the United States was transitioning from a wartime economy to a period of rebuilding growth and renewed optimism. When you look at a 1946 Lincoln cent, you are not just seeing a small copper coin, but a piece of history that reflects the emotions, priorities, and realities of post-war America. It was a time when soldiers were returning home, industries were converting back to civilian production, and the nation was beginning to imagine a more stable and prosperous future. The design of a 1946 1-cent coin continues the famous Lincoln cent style that was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1946, this design had already become deeply familiar to the American public. The obverse of the coin features a right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's image is dignified and calm, symbolizing unity, leadership, and moral strength, qualities that felt especially meaningful after years of global conflict. The word liberty appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the year 1946 is placed on the right. Above Lincoln's head is a national motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that carried strong emotional weight in the post-war era, reflecting gratitude, faith, and hope for lasting peace. The reverse of the 1946 1-cent coin features the classic wheat ears design, which was used from 1909 until 1958. Two stylized wheat stalks curve along the left and right edges of the coin, framing the inscriptions in the center. Between the wheat ears are the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E Pluribus Unum placed above them. The wheat symbolizes agricultural strength, prosperity, and abundance, which were important themes for a country emerging from wartime rationing and economic controls. For many Americans, wheat represented both survival during difficult times and the promise of stability in the years ahead. In terms of composition, the 1946 1-cent coin is particularly interesting because it marks the return to the traditional bronze alloy after wartime changes. During World War II, copper was considered a strategic material needed for military equipment and ammunition. As a result, the U.S. Mint altered the composition of the cent in 1943, producing steel cents coated with zinc. These steel cents were practical but unpopular with the public due to their unusual color and tendency to rust. By 1944 and continuing through 1946, the mint returned to a copper-based alloy, although the metal was often sourced from recycled military materials such as spent shell casings. The 1946 cent is composed of approximately 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. This gives the coin its familiar reddish-brown color and solid feel. The 1946 1-cent coin was produced at 3 different U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins minted in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark, while those produced in Denver feature a small D mint mark, and those from San Francisco carry an S. The presence or absence of a mint mark can have a significant impact on both collectability and value. Each mint produced millions of cents in 1946, reflecting the high demand for coinage as the economy expanded and everyday commerce increased. Even though the overall mintages were large, collectors still pay close attention to condition, strike quality, and originality when evaluating these coins. The Philadelphia Mint struck the largest number of 1946 cents, making the no mint mark variety the most common. These coins circulated widely across the country and were used heavily in daily transactions. As a result, many surviving examples show significant wear, with softened details on Lincoln's hair and beard and reduced sharpness in the wheat ears on the reverse. Despite their commonness, well-preserved examples in higher grades remain desirable, especially those with strong original luster and minimal surface marks. The 1946 D 1-cent coin from the Denver Mint is also relatively common, but slightly scarcer than the Philadelphia issue. Denver Mint coins are often known for their strong strikes, and many 1946 D cents display good detail, particularly on the reverse wheat ears. However, like all circulation coins from this era, most examples entered circulation quickly and experienced years of use. Finding a 1946 D cent in uncirculated condition with full red color can be more challenging, which increases its appeal to collectors. The 1946 S1 cent coin from the San Francisco Mint tends to attract special interest among collectors. San Francisco Mint coins from the mid-20th century are sometimes associated with weaker strikes or less consistent quality, although this is not universally true. In the case of the 1946 S cent, many examples show softer details, particularly on Lincoln's portrait. This makes sharply struck, high-grade examples more desirable and sometimes more valuable than their Philadelphia or Denver counterparts in similar condition. Condition plays a crucial role in determining the value and collectability of a 1946 1-cent coin. Coins that have circulated heavily may be worth only a small premium over face value, especially if they are dark brown in color with significant wear. On the other hand, coins that retain original mint luster and show minimal signs of handling can be worth considerably more. Collectors often categorize Lincoln cents by color, using designations such as brown, and red. Brown coins have lost most of their original copper luster, while red coins retain a bright, fresh appearance similar to how they looked when first minted. Fully red examples of 1946 cents are particularly prized, especially in higher grades. Another aspect that adds interest to the 1946 1-cent coin is the possibility of errors and varieties. While major varieties for this date are not as famous as some other Lincoln cent years, collectors still search for minor errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, doubled elements, or planchet flaws. These errors can significantly increase the coin's value and make it unique. Error coins also provide insight into the minting process and the challenges faced by the U.S. Mint during a period of high production demand. Of post-war America, inflation was beginning to rise as wartime price controls when the world was redefining itself after immense sacrifice and struggle. In summary, the 1946 1-cent coin is much more than a common copper penny. It is a historically significant artifact that captures the spirit of post-World War II America, showcases a beloved and enduring design, and offers collectors a meaningful and affordable piece of U.S. numismatic history. Whether found worn and brown from years of circulation or bright and red from careful preservation, the 1946 Lincoln wheat cent continues to tell its story quietly but powerfully, 1 cent at a time. The 1957 D1 cent coin is an important and interesting piece of United States numismatic history, representing the later years of the famous Lincoln wheat cent series. By 1957, America was firmly established in the post-World War II era, experiencing economic growth, expanding suburbs, rising consumer culture, and increasing global influence during the Cold War. The humble penny remained a vital part of daily commerce, and millions of Americans handled 1957 D cents without giving much thought to history, craftsmanship, and symbolism embedded in this small copper coin. Today, however, collectors view the 1957 D Lincoln cent as a meaningful snapshot of its time and a key issue in the final phase of the wheat cent era. The design of the 1957 D1 cent coin follows the classic Lincoln cent format, first introduced in 1909. The obverse features the iconic right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's image had already appeared on the cent for nearly 5 decades by 1957, making it one of the longest-running portraits on U.S. coinage. His calm, thoughtful expression symbolizes leadership, unity, and integrity, values that resonated strongly during a period marked by political tension and rapid social change. Above Lincoln's head appears the motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that gained even more prominence during the 1950s as the United States emphasized its ideological contrast with atheistic communism. The word liberty is placed to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the date, 1957, appears to the right. Just below the date is a small D mint mark, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse of the 1957 D cent displays a traditional wheat ears design, which was used from 1909 until 1958. Two stylized wheat stalks frame the outer edges of the coin, symbolizing agricultural abundance and national prosperity. Centered between the wheat ears are the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum positioned above. By the late 1950s, this design had become deeply familiar to the American public, but it was nearing the end of its long run. Just 2 years later, in 1959, the reverse would be changed to the Lincoln Memorial design to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. As a result, the 1957 D cent belongs to the final chapter of the beloved wheat cent series, adding to its historical appeal. In terms of composition, the 1957 D1 cent coin is made of the traditional bronze alloy consisting of approximately 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This composition gives the coin its characteristic reddish-brown color and solid feel. During the 1950s, copper was relatively affordable and readily available, allowing the U.S. Mint to continue producing bronze cents without the material shortages that had affected earlier wartime issues. The high copper content also contributes to the coin's appeal today, as many people appreciate the intrinsic metal value and classic look of pre-1982 Lincoln cents. The Denver Mint produced a very large number of cents in 1957, reflecting the growing population and expanding economy of the United States. The high mintage means that the 1957 D cent is considered common in circulated condition. These coins were heavily used in everyday transactions, from buying newspapers and candy to making exact change at grocery stores and gas stations. Because of this widespread circulation, many surviving examples show noticeable wear, including smoothing of Lincoln's facial features and reduced detail in the wheat ears on the reverse. Despite its overall abundance, the 1957 D cent becomes more interesting when condition is taken into account. Collectors closely evaluate factors such as strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and color. Lincoln cents are commonly classified by color into 3 categories: brown, and red. Brown coins have lost most of their original mint luster due to oxidation and circulation. Red-brown coins retain some original copper color mixed with brown toning. Fully red coins, which still display bright orange-red luster similar to their original appearance, are the most desirable. High-grade red examples of the 1957 D cent are much scarcer than circulated ones and command stronger interest among collectors. Strike quality is another important aspect of the 1957 D1 cent coin. Denver Mint cents from this era are generally known for decent strikes, though some examples may show weakness in Lincoln's hair or in the wheat ears. Coins with sharp details, strong lettering, and minimal marks are especially appealing. In uncirculated condition, collectors look for coins with clean fields, strong luster, and no major contact marks or carbon spots, which can significantly reduce eye appeal. The 1957 D cent is also known for a few interesting varieties and mint errors, which add excitement for collectors. The most famous variety associated with 1957 cents is the double die obverse, although this variety is more commonly associated with a Philadelphia minted 1957 cent rather than the Denver issue. However, minor errors such as repunched mint marks, die cracks, off-center strikes, and planchet flaws can still be found on 1957 D cents. These error coins are relatively scarce and can be worth significantly more than normal examples, especially when the error is clear and visually dramatic. From a historical standpoint, the 1957 D1 cent coin reflects a period of confidence and transformation in American society. The late 1950s were marked by technological innovation, the rise of television, and the early stages of the space race. At the same time, Cold War tensions influenced national identity and values, which were subtly reinforced through symbols on everyday objects like coins. The continued use of Abraham Lincoln's image and traditional mottos on the cent provided a sense of continuity and stability during a rapidly changing era. For collectors today, the 1957 D cent is often included in Lincoln wheat cent sets and albums, particularly those focused on the final decade of the series. It is an accessible coin that allows beginners to learn about grading, mint marks, and copper coin preservation, while still offering challenges for advanced collectors seeking high-grade red examples or interesting errors. Its affordability in lower grades makes it an excellent starting point, while its scarcity in top condition ensures ongoing collector interest. In the end, the 1957 D1 cent coin is much more than a common penny. It is a small but meaningful artifact from a dynamic period in American history, representing the closing years of a classic coin design that had served the nation for nearly half a century. Whether worn smooth from decades of use or preserved with bright copper luster, the 1957 D. Lincoln wheat cent continues to tell the story of everyday American life in the 1950s, 1 cent at a time. Both the 1946 and 1956 D1 cent coins are more than just pocket change. They are small pieces of American history that tell the story of their time. Whether you are collecting for passion, investment, or education, these wheat cents deserve a place in any collection. If you enjoy learning about rare and historical coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know which coin you want to see next. Thanks for watching.